Another day, another mascara. We are doing the Lash Discovery Maybelline New York Mini Brush Mascara. Once again, I will be doing this eye with I'm grabbing my primer, sorry. With the primer, I have yet to use this mascara with the primer just like the last one. Sorry, I keep looking over here. This is where my face is. So, this eye I'll be using the primer and then using this. Hopefully this time it works out a little bit better than it did this morning. It was being a pain in the butt. But yeah, I just use the primer and then I do the mascara. And this is just, if you haven't watched the other ones, basically I'm just documenting mascara by mascara, deciding if which mascaras are the best. If I look down or over here is like my main face because I use my iPad to film. And then if I look down here, that is because that's where my mirror is. See? iPad. But, I just filmed the other video for the Total Temptation Maybelline mascara. I filmed that one earlier today before work. Now that I am off of work, I'd love to tell you guys a little story of what happened today at work. Because let me tell you, it was quite interesting. So, basically what happened is this gentleman walks in. If you don't know, I work at Black Bear Diner. I work as a host, which basically is the person that first meets you right when you walk in. They're the first person that greets you, the person that takes you to your seats, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, this man walks in, I start walking over, and he just starts grabbing stuff. So I have like the menus, and then I have the dessert menus, and then I have the wrapped silverware, because we now have to wrap our silverware instead of having just the tables nice and set like we normally would, apparently. I didn't know this. I've only been there since the coronavirus happened. So, he just walks right past the podium, which is like this little wooden log that has like all of my stuff to show the seating arrangements for the waiters and waitresses, and to like make sure I'm seating them in order, blah, 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 right? And he just walks right past that and starts grabbing and touching stuff and then like trying to seat himself, basically. And so I walk over and I'm like, how can I help you? And he's kind of speaking a little bit of gibberish. I'm not fully, it's not like he's speaking another language and I'm being insensitive. I promise you, he did speak English. It just took him a minute. He was probably just stumbling over his words. And he's like, I would like to dine in. And I was like, okay. And then he was just kind of already sitting at this very big booth. It seats 8 people. And he sat himself there. Once a person sits down, there's not much I can really do at that point. So I just kind of left it and I was like, you know what? It's a party of one. Maybe he won't take that long. I am not kidding you when I tell you this man took 4 hours in total. Now within those 4 hours, the things that happened were quite strange. So we had, sorry, making sure that it's okay for we'd had him in there for like a couple of hours at this point, and all of a sudden, you know, he kind of like disappeared. So we all thought, okay, maybe he like left. Finally, you know, maybe he just left. And so my manager had told the busser, because we have to have a very specific busser because of the coronavirus, and so she told the busser, hey, go bus the table, blah, blah, blah. They find his shoes underneath the table, and they're like, okay, well, let's just put these in the lost and found. I guess he forgot his shoes. Weird, but alright. So you just put it in our little lost and found and whatever. All of a sudden, he walks back to his table. He was in the bathroom. with no shoes walking around the restaurant or the diner with no shoes on. No shoes. During a pandemic. Now, mind you, he's at the front of the diner. It's not like, oh, he was like right next door, so it's not that. No, he was a walk away. The restrooms are in the very back of the building, and he is at the very front of the building. So that was already like, and that's very unsanitary and very disgusting, because your feet are now on the carpet. But okay, so he gets very upset because she started cleaning his table, had basically like taken his food, which he had already had a couple hours to eat it, and it was pretty much gone. Like, the plate was pretty much empty, so of course we, took it and we bussed it because it was empty. There was nothing that was there to eat except for the plate. So when he comes back, he's clearly pretty upset about the whole endeavor, I guess, as you would like to call it. And he sits there and he's fine, not like no food, and he's fine for like a couple of hours. Then all of a sudden he starts saying that, like he's very, all of a sudden, randomly, he's just very upset, like beyond upset. He's angry at this point. And he tells my manager, or he tells me and the busser to get our manager. Can I speak to a manager? Can I speak to a manager? Like, I'm not kidding you. I could barely speak to my manager and get my manager because he just kept looking at me and saying, can I see the manager? Can I talk to the manager? I was like, dude, give me a minute. I was off. At this point, he had literally came in during the beginning of my shift, and I was already off, and he was still sitting there. And so, this kind sir, as we can call it. This is the brush, by the way. It's a very small brush. Kind of reminds me of what the telescopic was. I'm gonna curl these just a little bit more, because now that they have the primer on. Anyways, but, so he's like asking to speak to the manager, and me and the busser are trying to, figure out which one we should let him speak to, because we currently have two that technically count as managers. So we're like trying to figure out like who's available to come over. And me being off of my shift and a little bit more bitchy than usual, because I can be, and he's getting like very, very upset. For no reason. I don't fully understand why he was getting so upset so randomly, but he just was. He was very upset, just out of the blue, like, I don't know. But anyways, so, me being me and off of my shift, sorry, I was just fixing one of them, and I'm sitting there, waiting for my food, because I had also ordered food, and he's like, can I not speak to a manager? Why can't I speak to a manager? Why isn't the manager coming over and talking to me? And I'm like, sir, the manager also has to take tables. You need to give her a minute, and she will be glad to help you if you give her a minute. Me clearly upset. Of course, I didn't sound that angry, but I'm angry. Or I was. And then, of course, she walks over, and he walks her outside. Keep in mind, his shoes are still not on. At all. He's walking around in his half-calfed, like halfway up the calf, white socks, shorts as well. Khaki shorts. Just to put a little image in your mind. So, that was already a lovely look, if you ask me. And I'm not trying to bash on him if he has special needs. I'm not trying to bash on him if he does. I personally love people with special needs, and I used to help them in high school, middle school. Anytime I could. I love every single one of them. I know, in a general stance, how to understand and how to take care of, or in a way deal with. I'm not meaning like deal with them as like, oh, no. I'm meaning like I understand how to kind of take care of the issue, I guess would be a better word. So I don't think that's what it is, and if it is, I'm sorry, but just the way that he was acting and the way that he was treating other people is where I had more of my problem. So my manager, aka server lead, but she's basically a manager at this point, comes over and he like walks her outside, still with no shoes on, walks outside, and they're talking and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, oh my heck, this is such a stupid situation, blah 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 blah. And then, okay, it's dry. I'm gonna do another coat of this same mascara, trying not to fall out of frame for you. But continuing, sorry. But she comes back in and tells us that he had a few complaints. And by a few complaints, I mean a lot of complaints. Damn, I should have tried this with the primer a lot earlier. Look at that, guys. God dang it. Look at it. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Okay, sorry. Anyways, but yeah, so she comes back in and tells us that he has a couple of complaints. I'm going to try and name all of them. No promises. There was quite a bit. Number 1, he wanted his food remade. Completely remade. Number 2, he wanted both of them for free. Number 3, he wanted the music turned down because he had a very important conference call. Number 4, he wanted somebody to be fired for cleaning his table. Fired. And at which point, my manager tells him, no, not happening. You can sit outside and you can take your conference call. And I'm not kidding you, he was still there when I left. I'm gonna ask Ash. That's what her name's not Ash, but I'm gonna ask her when I get back what exactly happened and how long he was there for, because that's gotta be a funny story. But now I'm just gonna put this on my bottom lashes and then that will be it. This is a little bit of a longer video and I am very sorry, but that guy was just something else. I've realized if you want more product, or if you want your eyelashes to clump together more, you have to shake it. If you want more of a natural look, then just comb it through. After putting on so many different mascaras, kind of learn a little bit of right from wrong, but sorry, I'm just trying to go underneath and get rid of that clump. Alright, that is the final look of this one. I honestly really like it. I'm not gonna lie, space them out really nicely, very lengthening, very volumizing. I overall like it. I like it a lot. Now, if you don't know if this is the first video, I don't really do these to get views. I mainly just do these to kind of like, I guess, journalize either things that happen that I want to remember later, or just to kind of help myself know what mascaras I like, know which ones I don't like, maybe even help some people out along the way, but it's mainly for just like self-documentation. But just in case you guys want to know, on my TikTok, ASHLIEMAY1, I do this side, I don't do the primer, I just do this, I curl them, and then I put this on, and that's pretty much it. So if you want, follow me over there. It's just like a simpler way to not only see this side, but also you get to see it without the base coat, see if it looks better, if it's a lot cleaner. I will say this does have a natural look, comes off very easily, and for the time being I'm not using any waterproof ones. Don't want to ruin my eyelashes, they've ruined them in the past. Sticking to non-waterproof ones for the time being. But if you guys do want me to, I will. Just let me know in the comments if you want anything, if there's anybody even watching. But anyways, sorry for the crazy video and the weird story, but anyways, have a good day, guys. Bye.